Context clues means context is from the text, okay? And clues means some ways or some hints or some evidence that help you to make your guesses. What I mean that you need here to guess meanings of words, meanings of expressions, meanings of idioms, what the writer means. Okay? So we need here to guess either meaning of words, meaning of expressions, or even meanings of idioms and so on. The context clues we are about to use are combined in this acronym IDEAS, ideas. Each letter of these 5 letters, IDEAS, stands for a technique to use. For example, the I stands for inference, which means mainly guessing. We studied it last time in the previous session. What we mean by inference, it means to make guessing based on the data or the available information. D stands for definition. E stands for example. A stands for antonyms, which means opposite of words. And finally, the S stands for synonyms, which means similar word meanings or words that have the same meanings. So why are these techniques beneficial or useful? Because you need them to understand the unknown vocabulary, or let's say the unknown language. Most of us encounters or face some difficult words in some texts, so it may affect on the way you understand the text. How to solve this issue? Simply by guessing or using these context clues. So let's try this one with the word arrogant. And imagine that I don't know the meaning of the word arrogant in some context. So I read this word in this example, and let's use the different techniques to understand the meanings. Let's find number one, the I is for guessing. What I mean by guess, think what it may mean based on the context or based on the surrounding information. So all what you need to do here is to look to the near information in the line. In this line, look before it and after it and link these details together to guess the meaning. Okay, you don't need to get the exact meaning, but the meaning that is suitable to the context, the meaning which is relevant to the idea in this text. Let's read this example first. In this example, he said, don't want to work with Ricardo. Somebody doesn't want to work with Ricardo. Why? Guess why he may not want to work with Ricardo. He said, unless you want to hear him talk about himself. He is arrogant. Here he gave me a clue, a context clues on which I can guess the meaning of the word arrogant. He told me here that you will hear him talk always about himself. I need now to listen to your suggestions about the person who is always talking about himself. What do you think of this type of character? Who can quickly, please?
Careless, careless,
Careless, not exactly. Huh? Other suggestions?
Selfish.
Selfish, good job. So somebody who is talking about himself, let, we can describe him as selfish. Others, anybody can try?
Talkative.
Talkative. But talkative, he talks about anything, not only about himself. The talkative person is talking about important and unimportant topics, any trivial detail. Ah, others? Hiya, Alia. What do you think? Hala, Habiba, Malik. Rude. Alia said rude. It can be rude. Good job. Somebody is rude. But if you found it here, he said he is arrogant. He may be
Teacher,
rude.
they arrange like strange,
Like what?
strange,
Range?
yeah, cringe, cringe or strange,
Strange?
yeah,
No, no, not strange. It means here, what I mean, I'm always talking about myself. It
like
means I always only see myself. Mute your mic. I always see myself. I don't see others. I always believe in what I say, and I always don't like to listen to others. Okay, this person is rude, selfish, as you said. Okay, somebody who is selfish, who is only loving himself. This is a character that can be described as arrogant. From where I got the meaning or these meanings that I guessed based on this detail, I was able to guess the meaning based on this line to hear him talk about himself. He is arrogant, so you won't want to work with him. You will hate yourself if you work with this type of character. This is inference, so you can guess the meaning of any unknown detail in any context. Based on what? Based on the surrounding details or the adjacent information or the close and near information. The details before the information and the details after the information. This is one technique. Another technique is to use a definition. So writers sometimes gives the readers a definition of the unknown words, especially if the topic is technical, scientific, I mean, if about science, about geography, history, and so on. Let's see. The definition means what? The meaning of the word is explained in the sentence. So let's see how this example explained the meaning of the word arrogant. Look here what he said. Ricardo is so arrogant, he thinks he is more important than everybody else. So here what he did here, he defined the meaning of arrogant, right? He gave me the definition in this part. He thinks he is more important than others. So from this line, I can understand that arrogant means somebody who always thinks that he is important than other.
it,
The same meaning as loving himself, selfish, rude, see only himself. Okay, so another technique is to find what in the text the definition of a meaning. So either you can guess from the surrounding details, or either writers give you a definition that helps you understand the meaning. So try to look for one of these techniques in the text. It will help you too much. The third technique is using examples. Sometimes the writer give you an example from which you can guess the meaning of the new word. Example of the word is in the sentence or nearby sentence. Let's read the example. Ricardo is so arrogant. He's always bragging about how great he is at sports. The word brag means proud. Somebody is always show off, want to appear to the world. I'm here. I'm the only one. I'm the best player. This is what he means by brag. Okay? So he gave you here an example about if somebody is arrogant, Can you give me an example? He said yes. The example is he is always bragging about how great he is in sport, as if I asked you that somebody is generous. Can you give me an example? I can say that he always shares his belongings with others. He is always gives people what he possesses or what he owns. If he has $20, he always share money with others, so he is generous. This is an example. Okay? So until now we studied three techniques. Number one, the inference technique. Number two, definition. Number three, giving examples. The last two techniques are contrasted. Sometimes writers give you antonyms, and we mentioned antonyms means what? Means words that have opposite meanings. Like what? Like short and tall, like big and
And
small, and so
thin
on.
and light.
So he gives you he gives you two opposite ideas. These two opposite ideas help you to guess what this unknown word means. Let's see here how he gave me an opposite meaning to the word arrogant that may help me to understand the meaning. He said here Ricardo is so arrogant. Where is the opposite meaning here? He needs to learn to be humble, like his little brother Joe's.
Can I?
Humble,
Humble is the opposite of arrogant.
yes, humble. Here, he used an opposite meaning to the word arrogant. So if I ask it what arrogant means, look for the surrounding words. It may give you hints about the meaning of the word. He needs to learn to be humble like his brother Jose. Finally, synonyms. It's similar to definition, but synonyms is only single words. Synonyms, we agreed, meanings of words. Okay, let's see. Here he said, Ricardo is so arrogant. Oh, look here what he gave you. The same meaning, proud or self-centered and overbearing. So this self-centered means self-interested. He is only interested in himself and in his needs. He doesn't care about others. Okay? These are the main or the most common five techniques that help you understand unknown details in texts. Again, the five techniques are I for inference, D for definition, E for example, A for antonym, and S for synonyms. To understand it more, let's apply on another context. Read يا خالد.
Definition. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He is pleasantly easy to approach and always friendly.
Yeah, the word يا خالد is affable. Okay, affable, this word. He said here, Mr. Fry is an affable principal. So affable here may be kind person or arrogant person. He means unkind, maybe generous, maybe rude, polite. Let's see. So he said here, this principle is affable. And we agreed here we're gonna use the definition technique. He gave me here this technique. He is pleasantly Easy to approach. Easy to approach means easy to deal with. You can talk to him freely, anytime, whenever you want, tell him whatever you want, and always friendly. So he defined here the word affable as what? He is pleasantly, easy to approach, and always friendly. So what is the meaning of affable here?
Kind.
Kind. So he's a sort of a kind person or a friendly person, some approachable person. Approachable means some kind, or you can talk to him easily, you can sit with him, have a cup of coffee, and so on. Okay, so let's see. This is one technique. Let's check the second technique. The synonym. Read it, Anas.
Okay. Synonym. Mr. Fry is quite affable. Affable. In fact, he reminds
Your mic went off. Anas, Anas, we can't hear you. Read over.
synonym. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Synonym. Mr. Fry is quite affable. In fact, he reminds me of Miss of what's this?
Yeah, Miss Baker.
Miss Baker. Do you remember how kind she was?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, Anas. Habiba. So here, he used which technique? The synonym technique, right? And the word
Yes.
that has the same meaning of affable here is what? It's underlined.
Kind.
Kind, right? So we can judge here that Mr. Fry is kind, similar to what? To Mr. or sorry, to Miss
Big.
Baker, as she is kind to. Okay? Because he confirmed this idea here when he said, do you remember how kind she was? He's talking here about Miss Baker. He didn't tell me in this sentence that Mr. Fry is kind, even if we don't have the affable word. But I can guess its meaning based on the synonym meaning of the word e kind. Okay? Habiba,
Yes.
read the third one.
Understand. I miss Mr. Fry, our
Sorry,
new.
Habiba, just a question. You know what antonym means?
Mm, no.
I just explained antonym. Hala, you know what antonym means? Hala?
Like when he said he missed something from another person.
No, no, I'm asking about this word. Antonym.
No.
Khalid, what antonym means?
A word that has the opposite meaning of our.
Exactly. Antonym is the opposite of a word. And I gave you some examples like big and small. Big is the antonym of small. It means the opposite meaning. Okay? So antonym again means what, yeah, Anas?
Antonym means antonym means like the opposite of a word.
Like what?
Opposite of a word
Yes,
like
yes, the opposite of the word. Thank you.
like
Okay, who was reading this example?
hala.
I'll read.
I miss Mr. Fry, our new principal is uh
Cranky.
kind and
Un,
unpushable.
un,
Unpush.
Approachable, unapproachable.
Okay. Mr. Fry was affable. Was so affable.
Affable. Yes, thank you. Here, let's find antonyms for the word affable, which supposedly we don't know its meaning. He used here two words. One is unapproachable. He said, I miss Mr. Fry. It means Mr. Fry is a good person because he missed him. So Mr. Fry was so affable. It means Fry is what? Is a good character. Okay? Fine. Here he said, our new principal is cranky and unapproachable. So cranky and unapproachable must be what? Different meaning of affable, because he doesn't like his new principal. If he likes his new principal, he wouldn't say, I miss Mr. Fry. Okay, so the new principal is unapproachable means unfriendly. It means what again? Unfriendly. While he said about Mr. Fry what? That Mr. Fry is affable, which means he is friendly. Cranky means very weird. Cranky means very weird. And unfriendly is approachable. So affable here means also friendly. How do we know its meaning? From the opposite meanings in the sentence, like unapproachable and cranky are opposites to the word affable. Malik, read the example. This is the
Mr.
fourth technique.
Okay. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He knows everybody's name. If you have a problem, talk to him.
Good job. Here he gave you an example. Mr. Fry is an affable character. What you mean by affable? I mean, look, I'm going to give you an example. Okay? Giving examples is a helpful way to make readers understand. And here he gave me an example already. He knows everybody's name. So, to understand the meaning of affable, I gave you now an example that he knows everybody's name. If you have a problem, talk to him. Okay? If you have a problem, talk to him. What type of character that you can talk to him if you have a problem? Surely a kind character, a friendly character. And the character that knows everybody's name, it means he is a sociable character. People who is always interacting, talking to this one, joking with this one, have fun with this one, and so on. Okay, so he gave me here example of the word affable by a character that knows everybody's name, and if you have a problem, talk to him. Finally is the inference. I'm not sure if Alia can use her mic. Okay, Ali, thank you. Okay, Habiba, read again the last example. Inference.
I don't need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry. He is an affable principal.
Okay, yeah, Habiba.
Mm.
What we said about inference, its meaning. What we mean by inference.
Guessing.
Yes, good job. Thank you, Habiba. So here we're about to use the guessing technique. Okay, you don't need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry. Surely, if I told you, even without reading the rest of the sentence, if I told you, don't worry if you want to talk to Mustafa, it means that Mustafa is a kind person